Welcome to the PRB Sports Show, where the biggest sporting stories take center stage. I'm Abel Sunday. History has been made on the African football stage. Cameroon are Wafon champions. The indomitable Lioness have rowed their way to a 3-0 victory over Malawi, securing their first ever Women's African Cup of Nations crown. It is a moment of glory, pride, and celebration for Cameroon, while Malawi's incredible run ends with a silver medal after a remarkable tournament. What made the difference in the historic final? How did Cameroon rise to the occasion? And what does this triumph mean for the future of women's football in Cameroon and across Africa? To break it all down, joining me from Port Harcourt is the insightful Jackson Caleb. So grab your teacup because P&B Sport start now. No digments, no distraction, just pure unfiltered sport action.
Diogo Dalot, he pulls the men. That is outstanding!
Make the P&B Sports Show part of your weekday routine.
Philogene in the penalty area, twisting and turning. He tries to flick it towards goal.
Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. Make the P&B Sports Show part of your weekday routine.
Into Osimhen.
30 minutes of breaking headlines, in-depth analysis, match preview, and the stories every sport fan needs to know. And when Saturday arrives, we take things to another level. Get ready for balls of fire every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. One explosive hour of fearless opinion, heated debate, and non-stop football conversation. Weekdays at 9 a.m., Saturdays at 1 p.m. Stay ahead of the game.
Bellingham, England coming again. It's Harry Kane and Bellingham.
Only on Politics and Business Television, where sport comes alive. No digments, no distraction. Welcome back. It's the P&B Sports Show, reaching live from the nation's capital. And of course, I've been joined by the insightful Jackson Caleb, all the way from the Oil City, Port Harcourt. Jackson, great to have you with us again.
It's always a pleasure to go back on P&B Sports Show. And just like you rightly said, oil is beginning to surface, but I retain my promises. I'll give you guys a share of the oil.
Jackson, again, you are looking kinky this morning. I think it's a good way to start the week, isn't it?
Yeah. Like they say get up and very active.
Absolutely. Okay, let's dive into the conversation. Tactically outplayed or exhausted. I'm talking about the Malawi team. Did Malawi fairy tale run simply catch up to them, or did Cameroon big stage experience make the difference? Looking at what happened yesterday, nobody will believe. Even you did not predict 3-0. You are saying 2-1 or 3-1 as the case may be. But we saw the indomitable Lioness outplayed, outclassed, I don't even know how, round their way into the finals, and they won it 3-0. Nobody saw that coming. Let me get your take on that. What really think happened? Is it that the Malawians fall short of the brilliancy of the Chiwenga sisters?
We cannot really say that the Malawians fell short. Remember, just like we said on Saturday, it takes a whole lot of experience to be in the finals. And throughout this tournament, we've seen Cameroon being bigger side, having played a certain Super Falcons, having played the Atlas Lionesses, and they've come out with good results. So they've learned a lot. And remember, this is like their fourth attempt of trying to win this WAFCON. So you can see that it's not been an easy journey for the Cameroonians. And then again, the Malawian side, this is their debut tournament in the WAFCON. This is their debut attempt, and going to the finals, definitely it's been a wonderful story for them. But the Chiwenga sisters have definitely taken the spotlight all over the game. They have been the ones putting the Malawian team at parity and then taking them through to the games. And then again, if you watched the game yesterday, you could see a lot of tactical brilliance from the Cameroonian side. They had a lot of pressure on this Malawian side, and then they kept players to always fast track the Chiwenga sisters. Most of the times you see like 7 players pressing, and then you see 2 players left behind in case of any fast transition. And that was what they always did throughout the games, because that was the only way they could take out the the Chawinga sisters. But though Tabitha Chawinga had a bit of freedom because she had more time on the ball, but Cameroon were able to block the passing lanes, which was their plan B. Because if they could not stop the players directly, they could block the passing lane. So I think it was a bit of tactical outclassing from the Cameroonians. And the Malawian side had a bit of defensive issues because some of the goals that came in yesterday, you could see that their defenses were in sixes and sevens. So in summary, I just think it was a Cameroon brilliance that played out yesterday.
Indeed, it was the Cameroon brilliancy that played out yesterday. But goals from Naomi Eto'o spectacular 30th minute scissors volley to the greatest. Can we say that will be the greatest goal in Wafon final history so far? You could see the execution was superb. I could look at that one. It could contest for goal of the tournament any day, anytime. But look at that brilliancy. What can you say about that goal?
I mean, coming in from a player like her, I would not really be surprised. Like I've always said, a lot of people don't know a lot of names. Eto'o is from the Real Madrid team, and then she's been very impressive. Although she's not been able to get a lot of outputs, but she's been very impressive for the Castilian ladies. Watching her, then she came into this tournament with I think 2 assists already, and then again she was already having a very nice game. So I would not really say that it was anything short of expectations. But however, let's also give her her flowers. Given the circumstances that she had to turn her body, she had to adjust her shooting position, and given that she didn't even have enough time to scan to know if there were enough players at her back or by her side, she just had to use her instinctive finish. And for me, that was actually very brilliant goal because I didn't really expect that to pop out from the back. But then again, shows you the quality of the player. And then she also gave an assist to also match up her quality. So I think she's been very brilliant, and that goal actually was a very exceptional goal.
Indeed, it was. But before this game, build up to this game, Caleb, on Saturday here we spoke about it, and we talked about how the importance of organization. I'm talking about how organized rather the Cameroonians are back at their back line, and how very effective at the front line with the Chawange sisters of the Malawians are also front line. So we're saying it's going to be the best attack to the best defense. And so far, from the analysis, you agree with me that the Cameroonians conceive in this tournament, they conceive fewer goals so far in this tournament. But going forward, looking at what played out yesterday, would you say the Cameroonians have one of the best defense so far in the tournament?
Definitely. I think we can come to a consensus at that the Cameroonians have been able to impress not just by their numbers, but definitely by their playing style. When you watch the game, you see how they put their bodies on the line, how they mark players, how they are able to switch between, who is marking this person, who is staying back, who is keeping the offside trap. I mean, they are so organized. Like, we could see the movement in the box. Sometimes, if for example, like I said, if like there are 7 players going up, they have one center back and one right back, to stay back, to keep the counter. So that also shows you how organized that they are. They pay attention to the field. I think against Morocco, we even saw them stay 4 flat. None of their defenders were able to overlap to show you, okay, this was the system that they wanted to play against Morocco. But against the certain Malawi, you could see them overlapping to a certain extent, which also shows you that they are not only good, but they are able to transition, understand, with the game. So when they are playing different things, they play with different key details, and then they are able to stick to instructions, because at certain points you could see the coach calling out certain names for certain instructions. Even at some point, we could even see the left back. I really forgot her name, but the left back, at some point I certainly saw her joining in with the attack, and that was not a problem because the 3 men at the back were able to spread themselves in such a way that they were able to also keep the Malawians off causing much mayhem.
Indeed. But looking at what they've done so far, they became the 3rd country in history, or in WAFCON history, or in Africa, I beg your pardon, to win both the AFCON and the Wafon. If you recall, Nigeria have won it 10 times, and of course, we won the Wafon, I think, twice, the case may be. Then, the AFCON, we won the AFCON 3 times, and then the Wafon 10 times. If you go to South Africa, of course, they've won the Wafon and also the AFCON as well. Then now Cameroon also have won the AFCON, but this is the first time they won the AFCON. But how do you think how important is this victory for them, adding this to their cabinet, and of course making history to be among just the only 3 countries out of the 52 in Africa to win both AFCON and WAFCON?
To be honest, I think that's some important history that you have to accredit to them. It's not an easy task. You cannot just come out and say you want to win the WAFCON. Just like I said, this is not their first attempt, this is not their second attempt. Definitely it's been like their fourth attempt. So definitely you have to give them credence to their fighting spirit. You have to give them credence for their restlessness and their resilience. So and then again, it's an importance to football history, because just like we rightly said, we see a lot of records being broken on a daily basis. Just imagine the Malawian side was speaking history that on their debut qualification to the AFCON, they go to the final and then qualify for the World Cup. So that's history. Then again, it also shows that football definitely is not just about the men gender, that a lot of involvement in the female, because you could see the expressions on Samuel Eto's face, and that is to show you that Samuel Eto'o is the sporting director of the Cameroon's Football Federation. So that shows you where a football federation is working. That also shows you where a chairman of the football federation is concerned about the female. He is equally concerned about both. And on a general note, to be very honest, I think the female footballing abilities or the intensity between female footballers actually increased a lot. So I think this means a lot more to them that it should have mattered years ago.
It actually means a lot then, and of course the big wins need to step up, because you could imagine the powerhouses like the Super Falcons, the Bayana of South Africa, they are not more there. Even the how they call is it Guinea or the third country that have won the WAFCON again? I'm trying to. Yeah, the Equatorial Guinea, they are not there. In fact, they are nowhere in the conversation so far. So you could imagine how the female football have revolved so far in Nigeria. But the Chiwenga's impact, Chiwenga won the Golden Boot with 5 goals. Did Cameroon's defense locked her down perfectly, or was she just served of service? Staff of service, I beg your pardon.
I think that actually goes both ways, because to be honest, Tabitha Chavunga tried creating a lot of chances for Temwa yesterday. Watching the game yesterday, I really felt for Temwa because I had to do. But somewhere, somehow, each time she did, the Cameroonians always knew how to respond. And but then again, there were some chances that Temwa got that, well, you could have expected a better finish on, because she had like 2 shots. And unfortunately, none was on target, not even to produce the save. Because there was a particular one that I expected her to have, just gone straight. She has speed, so all you have to do is just beat the player, adjust your body, and pop the ball around the keeper. But unfortunately, she has to take too many touches, and one touch too many causes you, definitely you lose out on the ball. But then again, you cannot just say because of that one chance would have changed the game. Definitely, the Cameroonian defense, they were top yesterday, just like we've been saying on the show. They were top yesterday, and they were at the top most of their game, because they always had one man to always marker, and then the other person to block out the person in. So it's not really any other person's fault, but the Cameroonian defense, they were just too good yesterday.
Indeed, the defense was just too good, and it takes a whole lot of discipline to play in that top level. And I think they were all, in fact, they knew what they are doing, and they know what they wanted, and actually they got it. But looking at Malawi, Cameroon, Algeria, and also Morocco booking tickets to the 2027 World Cup over giants like Nigeria and South Africa, is the old guard officially dead? Are we gone, Caleb? It pains me to talk about this honestly, but of course we'll have to say it the way it is. Is it that the Super Falcons, we should just go and look for another thing to do, or we should start rebuilding?
I cannot officially say that Super Falcons are dead, remember that in the just concluded Commonwealth Games, Nigeria came first among African countries because we had the most medals on. So I mean that's something that puts us out on the map. And then again, it only reminds us that we have to readjust ourselves. We have to readjust ourselves, and this is a time where, like Erosion will always say, go down to the drawing board, clean all of the things that occupy, start from scratch, look into the errors. I mean, it's not a bad thing that we don't qualify for World Cup. The only thing that we bad is when there is no improvement on our playing style and how hungry we are to win trophies. That's the only thing that can now make it very bad. But not qualifying on the world, I can't really say it's bad because it is a competition, and it saddens me that Nigeria cannot compete for who wants it more. Imagine it's just like sometimes when we argue in men's football, we'll say that there are some matches that you don't even have to play to tactics. As long as you don't like the same team, just play your best not to lose to that person. Do everything possible. You understand? So that was what we're expecting from against Bayana Leeds. But like I also said, the Bayana ladies came in with a gel. They had an identity to play. And it's very hard to beat a team that has an identity and knows how to play to that identity. So be it as it may, female football evolves every day. It also applies to us that I get that before no be property. We have to renew our hunger, we have to step up our game, and then they have to come back to prove that how who we actually say we are.
Okay, fine. As we try to wrap up with this, with Cameroon sweeping the players of the tournament, we have the Golden Gloves went to Bahina, which is expected. Can this squad make a serious semi-final run in Brazil next year? Because we saw the goalkeeper of the tournament goes to, of course, nobody can even stand her way. She swept it all. I'm talking about Bihana, the goalkeeper of Cameroon. Can these guys actually show us something in the World Cup in Brazil next year?
Just before I come back to this question, I think I was a bit disappointed with the CAF, the Federation yesterday. Now, when you talk about Golden Boot, it does not involve assists. No, it's not supposed to involve assists. And I expected that, okay, the Golden Boot was supposed to be shared between Barbara Banda and Temwa Chawinga. But they came up with the best goal scorer. They said because Temwa Chawinga had 2 assists. It's not fair.
But Kenneth, if we're having that conversation, what if you now tie with same amount of goals? Can't they use something to break the tie? But they could go with assists to break the tie. If you have a tie, number of goals equally shared.
Get me right. In World Cup, even in Olympics, even in the Premier League, even in the La Liga, all of these big tournaments, we've had series of occasions where 2 players finish with the same amount of goals. Nobody goes to the assist to determine who is the better goal scorer. Even the last one that they shared, the last time that 2 players finished in World Cup that Kane and somebody finished with the same amount of goals, they have to share 2 golden boots. 2020 season in the Premier League, where Salah and Aubameyang finished with the same amount of goals, they have to share the amount. They have to share the golden boots. They gave us 2 golden boots. So it is now a problem that 2 players finish with goals, and then you are going into assists to determine that one does better than the other. Definitely not. Definitely not. It now robs off the credit that should have gone to the other player. Because Barbara Banda actually, if we have to consider a lot of factors, Barbara Banda has scored 5 goals in lesser matches. So that again should have stood as a point for Barbara Banda. It is actually very hurtful to see that some of these little things are being mitigated. And then again, kudos, I'm not trying to say that their way of doing things are different, but let us also consider how it rubs off on players' motivation. Because these things add to their player collection, it adds to their titles and things that make them stand out as professional players. And then again, to your question, just as we try to wrap up, I would not want to put pressure on this Cameroonian side. I don't want to put pressure on them. Looking at what they have done for us, I think I can actually envision let's qualify past the group stage. Because when you look at across the border, you look at teams like France, you look like the French female national team, you look at the Spanish national team, you look at the English national team, you look at the Netherlands national team, you go look at the Swedish national team, and those few have exceptional playing styles. So you don't definitely want. You look like the French female national team. You look at the Spanish national team. You look at the English national team. You look at the Netherlands national team. You go look at the Swedish national team, and those few have exceptional playing styles. So